Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. That's just north of Frandor on East Saginaw near the Lansing-East Lansing border. I was just there last night. Had dinner with a friend. Great conversation. Had the Big Island Bowl, one of my absolute favorites. They've got the Maui Bowl, the Big Island Bowl, just a great selection of sushi options. But they also have lots of things like burgers, and it's just a great menu. You'd love it if you haven't been there before. You'll love their drink selection. You'll love the vibes. And the TV selection, too. If you're looking to watch a game this March, some conference tournament action for Michigan State men or women, MSU hockey, whatever it might be, Front 43 and Cask & Company, no better place to do it. Jason, how you doing, brother? Really good pianist.
Right now, either you're stuttering or I'm not picking it up because it's a what. So,
what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
What are we doing today? What are we talking about?
Well, we're gonna have Joe Rexrode on in a little bit here. Yeah. He is.
It's been a while since we've talked to Joe.
Yeah, and he is also the resident bracketologist for The Athletic. Like, he does their bracketology.
So he's like the Joe Lenardi of.
Yeah, I mean, like he
sounds like a lot of pressure.
It is eventually. I mean, I think this might be his first full year doing it. So, like, there's no data on how bad he'll be yet at it. Like, Lenardi, people know, is like ranked pretty low. Is
Rexrode nerdy enough? Like I don't want to be like I don't want to offend Rexrode, but like it doesn't seem like he's that bracketologist guy, you know? Like,
no, but he's a hoops nerd and he's a junkie, and
you know what I mean? Like these guys, these Lenardis, there's like a common theme with them, and I think like Rexrode, it's like a compliment. I think like he's a man's man, kind of.
Yeah, if you look at the they have a thing called the bracket matrix, right? And you look at all those guys, and you can see where I actually love the name of that. You go to bracketmatrix.com because you can see where
makes it sound cooler than it is. Yeah,
it's a much better way than going to like an individual site because you get to see where everybody's putting Michigan State and all that. And like on the bracket matrix today, Michigan State is now up to a 2 seed, the last 2 seed. Which is
that on the dark web, the bracket matrix? Like, how do I get to that? Can anyone get to it? Or?
No, you need a password. Yeah, and there's a lot.
Is it the same as the LSJ one?
It is actually, right. and it's also $749 a week. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Obviously, if any LSJ people are kidding.
Yeah, hilarious.
It's not funny.
Joke about how it goes up every month.
Sorry,
it's almost as bad as Big Ten Plus. Network, whatever.
Hey, I just got an email from Paramount today. It was like, another $2 starting next month. That's the way
I'm telling you, there's going to be a breaking point for us all at some of these.
Yeah.
You
got to reassess what you need and what you don't need. But I hope you do need the LSJ. And the bracket matrix is absolutely free. If you go to bracketmatrix.com, and Michigan State is right now the last 2 seed. One of the things that's helping is Nebraska losing on the road to UCLA badly last night. Purdue loses to Ohio State. Kansas loses. Gonzaga loses. Like all these teams that are losing, and while Michigan State's playing their best basketball at the right time, it'll be interesting to see what they still need to do. Like this doesn't factor in the fact that they're more than likely, and not for sure, but they're playing at the number 2 team in the bracket matrix, Michigan, on the road. So if that was a loss and they beat Rutgers, do they stay where they are? Iowa State is the next team below them, Nebraska below that. So it's interesting. Michigan State suddenly trying to get off a 4 line forever. Looks like a 2 is a possibility. And, of course, these aren't the selection committee, so it could go an entirely different way. But it does seem like when you start to look at what's around them, as long as they take care of business at home against Rutgers Thursday night, you have to think the 3 seed is pretty much a lock. Because even losing to, say, they're not going to have to play till Friday in the Big Ten tournament in the quarterfinals, and the team they have to play there is probably like a Wisconsin. And sure, they'd love another shot at Wisconsin, and you'd love to win that game, but that's also not like an incredibly bad loss. Wisconsin's a 7 seed, not ideal, but would that drop you down to a 4? I don't think so on a neutral court. So, but you got to take care of business against Rutgers, and a 2 seed for Michigan State would be incredibly ideal because the thing about being a 2 seed,
a 1 seed would be really ideal, but
1 seed's even more ideal. But the problem with the 1 seeds, and maybe you'd get a good draw, but you're not going to catch Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and I don't think Connecticut. Connecticut would have to really fall apart. The problem is all those teams are still as good as they are, and probably Florida too. And so if you and Houston maybe as well, and so you'd have to play them as the 2 seed in your bracket anyway. I don't know that there's that much of a difference, but if you get to a 2 line, and now you're not having to deal with another 2 seed in your bracket, and you wouldn't have to deal with a 1 seed till the Elite Eight, that would be incredibly useful for Michigan State. So that's worth it if you can get there. And I think they're teetering on that. And obviously, if they beat Michigan, that just shows you how they would.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
I think they'd be firmly on the two line, at least based on what everybody's projecting at this point, and what the sort of the. It's.
Have you ever been on Rexrode's? He still does the radio show, Robbie and Rexrode, right? At like 5 a.m. or whatever.
I've listened before, yeah.
No, I mean, have you been on?
No, I've never been on. They've never
really?
Asked me. No.
Why is that? They have Doctorman on it. Shows it right here. What's up with that? You got to bring that up.
For a couple
reasons. You go
reasons.
on all of these friggin' podcasts. You do all of these things.
I do think I've done it once a while ago. Now I do think. I think Joe respects me not wanting to get up at 6 a.m.
Well, you don't have to get up at 6.
And Doctorman does much more national stuff these days. He does a lot more conversations, big picture college football. I don't think
that's true. Doctorman is like a national guy now.
Yeah, they're not. The talk. They don't want to bring me out. Let's talk about Michigan State basketball. I mean, what are we going to do? Talk about the 10-year anniversary of the loss to Middle Tennessee State? We could do that.
I got to figure. I mean, how much can you break down the Predators and Titans offense or off season?
Probably a lot. It's what they do in Detroit all the time. It's the same hits.
It's amazing
from the same folks. It's just like here. We all play the same hits. It's not like it's not like our ideas are that new or that.
No, not at all. But I just figured they'd have you. I mean, just to kill. Who knows?
Yeah,
be entertaining on there. Reminisce.
For sure.
Yeah.
So no, this would be so yesterday, Tuesday. What day is today? Wednesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Hump day.
Izzo has his press conference and players available ahead of the final home game of the year. And what was also interesting about that, I thought, is, and I asked Izzo about this, it is very clear increasingly over this year that he really regrets not redshirting Carson Cooper.
People are nuts. I'm not nuts. They're nuts.
And it's interesting to watch it in real time because he brings it up every time he talks about Carson Cooper at this point. So it's clearly on his mind. It's clearly something he laments. And if you go back to Carson Cooper's freshman year, it wasn't like he wasn't playing. It wasn't like he wasn't helping them. It wasn't like they had great options at center. You remember they had that Mady Sissoko had that great start against Gonzaga and Kansas, and everybody looked like Wilt Chamberlain all of a sudden.
Looked like a young Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yes.
Amazing.
So there is,
where'd that guy go?
It didn't last.
No.
And so they didn't have great options. But if they could have, coaches struggle with this. And if they could have had the discipline to say, you know what, this will limit this year, having one less big man. But this guy's not ready. I remember the first game, I don't even think he played against Gonzaga because maybe he was late to the breakfast. He was late, he was still growing up, Carson Cooper was. If they had the sometimes the ability to look down the road can really pay off, because if you look at next year's team, if everybody comes back, and I think Izzo knows this, next year's team is a Carson Cooper away from being as complete a roster as he's had in a long time. And potentially, you got to get Jeremy Fears back, you got to get Cohen Carr back, you got to get Jordan Scott back, all these, guys got to come back.
Why can't Cooper come back again?
Because he's played 4 years.
So what? But there's no rules.
He even joked about that. He's like, if I even, didn't have the scruples to, I just sue, for
there's small print somewhere. We can get him back.
You would have a better chance with Kohler just because he missed so much time, but even he played like 21 games that sophomore year, and it was the end of the year. You'd have a better chance with a lawsuit, I think, with Cooper, or if you just had an age thing, you're like, hey, Cooper's 21 years old. These guys are playing are 25. Anybody under 22 should still be eligible, you could say, and he would have maybe a chance. But that was sort of interesting to me. The other thing that was interesting in this is it turns out Cooper and Kohler are two of only 22 4-year scholarship seniors, 4 or 5-year scholarship seniors celebrating senior day this year. That's how few there are in all of college basketball. So, and if you look at the Big Ten, it's a really small number as well. 22. Oh, sorry, not all of college basketball. High major college basketball. 22 high major scholarship players will celebrate senior nights this week, having played just at one place, and that's from Isaac Trotter at 24/7 and CBS Sports. And in the Big Ten, Purdue has 3. Michigan State has those 2. Michigan 1, Nebraska 1, Northwestern 1, Ohio State 1, Oregon 1. And that's it.
Back to Cooper, though, real quick. And I know Izzo said that he would love to have a guy like Cooper. I mean, there is a transfer portal, Tom. Is there anybody out there that's maybe kind of like Carson Cooper, if we can finagle him back somehow
100%.
With some small print or something like that? I feel like, hey,
100%. But
let's die trying a little bit. Like, it's those things like that where I just kind of disagree. Like, all right, well, it's unfortunate that Carson can't come back, but let's look in the portal.
So I think he knows that. But it's just easier if the guy's already on your roster.
Of course.
And he just wishes it. And this is why he talked about with Jesse McCullough the decision to redshirt him. Now, they were in a better situation a year ago, right? They had brought in Zappala. They had junior Jackson Kohler, junior Carson Cooper. They didn't need him as much. But that was part of, he said, just realizing that, the best thing you can do for a kid who needs to is redshirt him, right? For Cooper, if you look back at his freshman year here, and he played some minutes. He played in the NCAA tournament, for example, when they played 3 games against USC, Marquette, and Kansas State, and they were trying to almost make a Final Four. I mean, remember that game? They lost a Sweet 16 game in overtime to Kansas State. That team had a chance to get to a Final Four. Cooper played 12 minutes in that game. He played 16 against Marquette. He played 13 against USC. He was playing a significant role against USC. He had 6 points and 4 rebounds. It wasn't like he was doing nothing and playing 0 role. So the mistake then was not going out, and it was for a couple years though, and getting somebody else. And even if they had not gotten the center that everybody wanted them to get, like a big-time center, even if they had gotten a Zappala type that year, just one more guy that depth-wise meant you didn't have to play Carson Cooper. That would have made a significant difference, I think. And so that anyway, it's interesting to watch coaches go through this because I think sometimes they're the last to realize it. I think sometimes players don't want a red shirt, but when if there's no doubt you can get a player next year who can do what they need him to do. But Carson Cooper is exactly what they need. They need a guy who defensively can cover what Carson Cooper can. Offensively, he's grown a ton. Izzo thinks like he's a year away from really taking off. And I think that's the hard thing for him. He thinks he's like, has a chance to play maybe at the next level at some point.
Bull in a China club.
Certainly will play some professional basketball. And it's like a year away from really taking off. And, you're that guy's not going to be there. And I think, look, the same could be, if you had another year of Kohler, and Kohler plays more of the 4 for you, but you'd have all sorts of flexibility, and you'd probably be okay. I think defensively, though, and just the 5 position, they probably need what Cooper provides, and it'll be up to them to go out and get it. It was also interesting, Cooper, Kohler, these guys are playing their last games at Breslin Center. But some of the guys who you're interviewing for to talk to them before their final game, it's Denim Wojcik, who's played 1 year. It's Trey Fort, who's played 1 year. Like, that's the other side of college basketball, and I just wonder if how many senior nights are still really going to be a thing that means anything. When somebody walks out to get their flowers on senior night and they played 1 season, the hell is that?
And Nick Sanders, he's going to be doing it as well. I see everybody. You guys were asking if they're going to cry or not. I think
I didn't ask.
You guys going to get emotional? It's like, all right, yeah, of course you would. I mean, it's the end of the whole thing there. You got to kiss the Spartan logo. I mean, it's just in the middle of the court. I mean,
well, Nick Sanders is a cool story.
Has to be.
It's a cool story.
Draining that whole day. My God.
That's why, and they do it after. They do the ceremony after,
right.
which
is smart.
Izzo thinks is better because sometimes beforehand there's like this nervous energy going in. The crowd's kind of and they've done it when they've lost. I remember that game against when Draymond Green and that crew lost to Ohio State on that last second shot in 2012, and they still did it. And so that's the risk you take. It helps when it's Rutgers at home, and you're probably not going to. But they've usually been really good on senior night, so they'll probably take care of business in this one. But it's just different. The 1 year thing, the idea that you would celebrate that.
Well, it's not celebrating, but it's just kind of thanking.
But why not? But why not celebrate? A guy who's a freshman who's definitely going if he plays 1 year. Like, why not celebrate? I mean, I understand Jace Richardson. They didn't know if he was leaving, but you think he might. So why not celebrate? Like, they celebrated. Well,
then it wouldn't be senior night. It'd be like, hey,
final year
thanks
night.
for coming night or whatever. Like,
but if you've already graduated college anyway and you show up as a grad student, is it senior night? Like, I don't even know. Like the MSU women celebrated Theron Halleck. Now, she's been there 4 years, but she's probably coming back next season. But this class was important to her, and she wanted to be part of that. And so you celebrate her, and it's not her. You don't know if it's going to be her final game. You could have done the same thing with Jace Richardson. You could have said, just in case, we're gonna
what if you come back then?
Well, then you come
They
back.
have to take it all back.
They did it twice. I think didn't they do it twice with Tyson Walker? I think they did it twice with Tyson Walker. You deal with it. I just think it's sort of weird.
Nothing matters anymore anyway, right?
Yeah.
Just have it. Say goodbye. Clap. Look for Alan Haller. Don't clap. Whatever you got to do.
If you see Alan Halleck, give him a golf clap. Golf clap. Small clap.
No way.
We are after we talk to Joe. We'll do some other conversations with Jason and I on several other topics as well, and all that good stuff. We're going to take a really quick break. We come back. We'll get Joe on. We'll talk some more MSU hoops. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask and Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask and Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. That's just north of Frandor on East Saginaw on the Lansing-East Lansing border. Go to caskandcompany.com to make a reservation today. Very pleased now to be joined by a man whose heart's still in Lansing. Covers college sports for The Athletic, co-host of Robbie and Rexrode on 1025 The Game in Nashville. Joe, you know how I know Joe Rexrode, by the way. You know how I know your heart's still in Lansing? When I look at your Twitter bio, you're in this studio I'm talking in now. Your main picture is still you at the top with your daughter and Doug Warren back in the back in the producer chair. So you've never really left. Your heart has never really left.
No doubt. Well, apparently there's some bars that I'm not familiar with that I need to check out too. So, but absolutely, my heart's there. Also, most of my bank account with 2 kids in college there. So I also have to, stop by a lot and make sure people are, like wearing pants to class and whatever else needs to be figured out.
Oh man, that's yes. And having met your sons, I understand why you're. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I actually find the stories you tell about your kids, I find to be hard to believe based on my experiences with them. So, all right, you are of your many roles for The Athletic these days, you have become the resident bracketologist, which is an interesting. Like, what is that? How much work goes into that? I remember doing like an AP poll, and the amount of time I went into that. This is a little more specific, I'm guessing. What all goes into that?
No, it's an insane amount of work. I'm so glad you asked that because it is a lot of freaking work, man. And and also I'm glad I saw that like Joe Lenardi said that bracketologists are like professionals. So I mean, apparently it's its own profession. So that's exciting to know. But no, I mean, so like all week I have a file going, and I just I keep the results. I keep updating the results for everybody, including like all these teams that aren't quite in the field. And then, like, just the seeding list, I mean, next week it's going to start being daily, so it's like you kind of have to just, like, okay, does this move the needle enough? For the most part, you're trying to keep it mostly what it is, because that's the reality of conference tournaments is, like, if you happen to, like, load up with some massive wins, then that's one thing. You can still change your spot, but I think – a lot of times teams will quote unquote make a run, but they did it with quad 3 wins, and it's like, who gives a crap, right? But anyway, no, I mean, it's like basically all day Saturday, and a lot of times I have to like, and weighing it, like they have a few of us sort of rotate and write about different games and stuff, but I'm just constantly tinkering with the seeding list. And then Sunday, it's like all day, and then I have to turn it in Monday. But once you get to the seeding list, you start scrubbing teams against each other. So again, you're going through all the different metrics. You're, and you're also like trying to imagine conversations like, okay, so the metrics here are better, but for this team, but I think this team's better. And look at this team actually has better wins. I think that often prevails if the metrics are close. And then you do the bracket, which is a total pain in the ass because, I mean, especially now with these conferences, there's a million teams, so it's so impossible to avoid rematches early. You got BYU, they got to be in the South or the West, and they got to they have to play on a Tuesday, Thursday, the first weekend. You get into the 6s and 11s, and it's just like, oh my God, it's crap. There's a rematch. I got to flip this around. I mean, you basically just opening this up for me to complain. But no, it is a lot of work. But it is. It's also fun when you can do things like. Belmont. I know I've had Michigan State and NC State matched up a couple times in a couple brackets, and also I'm constantly putting Belmont, which is going to be a really tough 12, either against Vanderbilt as a 5 or Tennessee as a 5, 2 teams that would not schedule Belmont. So I know you approve of that.
100%. That's the way it should be. Yeah, especially I believe in intent and scheduling too. I believe like if I was at Miami, Ohio right now, I would be. Now, I don't know who they tried to schedule, and that's part of their problem. Their schedule is not great. And as somebody who covered mid-major hoops, I'm a mid-major snob, but I do not approve of that schedule. But what I would like to see is his text messages to coaches and calls. Like if you have a list of these are the people we tried to play, and you like that stuff would matter to me a little bit. But let's go to Michigan State here. You have them on a 3-line as of the latest one. The bracket matrix gets them as high as the last 2. What, in terms of their potential, how solid they are at a 3, and their potential to move up with a 2, with obviously a game looming at Michigan, some teams around them, even since your last bracketology came out, losing like Nebraska and Kansas and obviously Gonzaga lost over the weekend and whatnot. How solid do you think they are as a 3, and their chances of moving up to a 2?
Yeah, I think they're really solid as a 3, which is kind of swift and sudden. They were kind of stuck in that 4, but it just things around them. But then the win at Purdue. I mean, I know Purdue has been faltering here, but Purdue is still. I mean, Purdue's metrics are still extremely strong. They're still a solid 3, and winning at Purdue. I mean, that's a resume changer. And well, maybe not resume changer, but it's the topper of the resume now. And it, obviously, then everything else bumps down one. And you look, and they're 1-0 against Purdue and Illinois with a close loss in Nebraska. And I know it's not like they're comparing these teams, but yeah, my last week it just happened to be that my 8, 9, 10, and 11 were the 4 Big Ten teams, and I had Nebraska as a 2. But yeah, like right now, I would have MSU as a 2. I would have them as the last 2 at this point. Actually, you know what? They might even be the 7 with Illinois as the 8, and Iowa State bounced. That's one of those things where, okay, let's go through it again. Let's do all the metrics and scrub it and best 3 wins and all that stuff. It's close, but they're 2. I think they're 2 for me now. So, like you said, you got the game at Michigan. But if you win the game at Michigan, which I give them some chance. I mean, Michigan has already clinched. They've got to figure out life without LJ Kayson. I mean, I feel like, a little bit of like go out there and play free. Who knows? You hit a bunch of shit. If they shoot threes like they have in some of these games recently, then, they could do it. You get that. First of all, like you basically it doesn't matter what happens in the Big Ten tournament. And I would say, like, it would take a lot, but you could actually be in play for the 4th one. Again, that's like Florida and UConn both needing to falter quite a bit. But what's the best win in college basketball this year? I mean, I think it's still Wisconsin winning at Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like so. I mean, if you get that one, all of a sudden, like that resume is just like whoa. And the wins above bubble, I think it's one of the best developments we've had, Graham, in all of this. And it's part of the story with Miami of Ohio. It's allowed them to incrementally add to their, again, what that metric is basically your record compared to the average bubble team. So a team like Miami can have the schedule they have, but since there's no losses to take away, they just keep chipping away, and they have a nice wins above bubble number. And that gives them, to me, if they get to the MAC tournament, I think that they're going to be in even if they lose that one game in the MAC tournament. I may be wrong, but I think there's a strong chance of that. Michigan State right now is sitting there at 5th in wins above bubble at 7.56. So in other words, more than 7.5 wins more than your average bubble team. You get the win at Michigan, and I think you might pass UConn for the 4th best wins above bubble. Again, that's only one metric, but they seem to really, the committee last year, that's why North Carolina got in, and they seem to really value that. So bottom line is, I think Michigan State right now, I would get this. It's the way they're playing. And even if it's like a good competitive game at Michigan, I mean, that matters too. Like you're watching teams. There's not this official last 10 metric or whatever, but they still care about how teams are playing right now. So I think Michigan State, if I had to predict right now, they're going to be a 2 seed.
Wow. Yeah, it is incredible because a week ago it was a 4 and it felt like it was hard to get up. And obviously, you get things help when Gonzaga loses at St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is a tough place to play, but it's still, you're in a league where you just can't afford losses if you're going to be seated that high. When you look at MSU as a team, and you and I have talked about this before, like I still think there is a tier above them because I think it's a strong year at the top for college basketball and Duke and Duke and Michigan and UConn and it's just. Do you think, have you seen stuff from them that makes you think, Arizona too, obviously, that makes you think that they have a better shot on a single day in a tournament against those guys, or a better shot of even putting together a couple games against them?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's like, are you going to, because it seems like the Jordan Scott thing, and I know you've written about him recently, obviously that's a big development. It's not the massive, like, Jace Richardson thing of last year where it's like he becomes like the guy they go to when they need a bucket last year. But I mean, first of all, I think he's going to be a pro eventually, and probably next year he's probably going to be a star. But you know, he's out there. I know he had foul trouble last game, but I think his ability to defend with his length and his rebounding ability, and now he seems to be able to hit some shots. And then all of a sudden you have is Kurt Tang? Is this what Kurt Tang is going to be? Is Jackson Kohler going to hit threes? I mean, to me, it's like I feel like the floor is pretty high with this team. I'd be really surprised they're not in the second weekend, you know, with the way they defend and rebound. And with their point guard, who's just so good at, I mean, he really is an incredible player with his feel for getting people shots and just like timing it up and thinking the game a step ahead. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand how good he is. So I think their floor is high. But like, getting into one of those games with those teams, like you just can't have like the 4 for 18 3-point night, right? Yeah. But if Tang and or Kohler is gonna get hot, and it seems like, you know, I know you tell me, it seems like Tang is doing a better job of keeping himself on the floor defensively.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the question to me, right? Can you get scoring from the wing with everything else you got?
Well, and the thing you're seeing more, and it didn't happen in the last game because Scott was in foul trouble, you're seeing a little more of the Tang-Scott tandem, which allows them to have Scott on the floor and get the best out of Tang, and he's not, and because Fears is an adequate defender, and you know you're not hiding your point guard, I think that you know you can get away, you can hide somebody, right? It's hard to hide multiple people, and they're not hiding Tang. That's not quite fair. But you can have one guy that you can put on a matchup that's favorable. If you need everybody, you know, if you've got 3 guys you have to try to find a favorable matchup for, you're in a bit of trouble. And yeah, 3. I mean, if his games. So this would be the promising thing about Kurt Tang. He obviously hit 6 for 8 against Indiana, which is more than he's ever done. But he's hit 3 threes or more and hit 40% of his threes in a game 7 times this season. They're 7-0. But 3 of those games are in the last 4 games. So it's not like it came out of nowhere. And so there's, you know, if he keeps his confidence up, that is something. The Fears, you bring up Fears. Fears versus Yaxel, Big Ten Player of the Year. Where do you stand on this?
Oh man. That's a really tough one. Is that what it is? Is it going to be one of those 2 for sure? I mean, is Braden Smith going to get like career?
No, he can't.
He can't be it. I agree.
No.
I mean, but it's one of those things where it's like there are people who give career achievement awards. I think it should. I would vote Fears. But I'm not it's not upsetting if Yaxel wins it. It's just like obviously they're so freaking good, and I think that Morez Johnson is underrated for them. And I'm not saying Yaxel's overrated at all, but like I just feel like his switchability and just everything he does is such a beast on the boards and everything. Like I think the value is pretty close. Obviously, Yaxel is starring for a loaded team. A little bit less loaded now, losing Kason, who I thought was playing unbelievably well. I think I'd give it to Pierce. I mean, you look at like the KenPom player rankings. What is he, 2 in that? I think, or maybe he's 3, something like that. You look at the points produced and again, he is also a plus defender, and I feel like that's gotten better. And again, you like go to the Michigan State Purdue game last week. It's like I'm watching. It's like if we're talking about awards between these 2 guys. Well, one of them is locking up the other one and doing a pretty darn good job, by the way, against that maze of ball screens. And then the other guy is being hidden. Yeah. But no, the Yaxel Fears is really interesting. And then like I don't know, do people like does the mid-season tripping and kicking the groin stuff, like does that hurt him? I feel like he's got enough distance from that it shouldn't, but maybe it does.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then, Yaxel says some things on social media that are kind of a turnoff. He comes off as a little bit of a douche once in a while, too. So I don't know if that hurts him. He doesn't seem all that likable. Like, if you look at the KenPom stuff, for the Player of the Year standings, this is national. It's Cam Boozer 1, Joshua Johnson at Iowa State 2, Yaxel is 3. Kingston Flemings from Houston is 4, Jeremy Fears 5, Keaton Wagler 6, Braden Smith 7. So that gives you an idea of how the sort of the metrics are. But the difference between Boozer is like so far ahead of everybody that I think he could play the rest of the season with one arm and win it. But if you go down to like the difference between Yaxel and Keaton, those four, and Braden's even below them a little bit, is really close in the Ken Palm rating. So it's but yeah, no, I agree. It's tough. And I think personally, Merez Johnson's the better pro than Yaxel. Like, I think he's going to be, you talk about the switchability and other things. I think he's going to be the better long-term pro. It's tough. I've got to vote. I'll figure it out. But that is interesting.
Sorry. No, real quick, I will say too, I'm with you because Merez is several years behind him in developing his shot. He's going to get it.
Yeah.
And one more thing on this. I mean, I'm probably flip-flopping here just because, like, Michigan, when you have a dominant team like this, you probably should have the Big Ten Player of the Year, right? I mean, that's where it's like, that might be a tiebreaker. Like, I'm not always like, it's got to be best player on best team type thing. But at the same time, this is such an extraordinary team and season that maybe that tilts it. It's close,
if they go unbeaten on the road in the Big Ten, that's really hard to do. And then the other thing is, it's also for Yaxel's. If you're making the case for him, it's not fair to punish him because he's on a loaded team, whereas Fears isn't. Right. But
because his numbers could be, exactly. His numbers could be bigger if he wasn't on such a loaded team.
Right. No, it's a good conversation. And it looks, there's one more data point. They go head-to-head to some degree on Sunday. So if one of those guys doesn't show up and the other's amazing, maybe that's the tipping point and makes it an easier decision. Best teams in basketball to you that you've seen, is it Duke, Michigan? I mean, we saw Michigan versus Duke head-to-head, which is one of the reasons I hate non-conference games in late February. I want the mystery of that matchup. I don't want a rematch. I want the mystery of that matchup. I don't like that stuff. I mean, I get why the ACC wants it. They crown their conference champion out of the conference tournament, so they're just wasting time for 2 fucking months anyway. So why not play a showcase game too? But to me, it feels unnatural. It worked this year because Michigan sort of clinched the title. But I love the mystery of, like, you get to a Final Four and there are just these massive teams and you have no idea what the matchup's going to look like. I hate a data point that's seen the matchup. And I know that happens sometimes, and sometimes you get conference matchups and that sort of thing. But I just wish they hadn't played for that reason. But the top of college basketball, what is the order in your mind?
Yeah, I think I have to go Duke now, especially with Case. I mean, again, I keep going back to that. They're going to be fine, and I totally expect them to be in the Final Four and to be right there to win it all. But that is a loss for Michigan. A little bit more pressure on Cadeau. That guy just would get you a bucket, and was a really good defender. That's a loss. I mean, really, Roddy Gale hadn't been playing too much, and he's fine. I mean, he's good depth, but there's a drop off. With what now? I think maybe McKinney gets more minutes, and I think he's a terrific player. But I got to go Duke. It's just the Boozer. You mentioned Boozer and the Ken Palm Player of the Year. He is. It's funny because Cooper Flagg last year was obviously this phenomenon and Player of the Year and all this stuff, and just an unbelievable athlete and defensively, like the ground he covered and all the things he did. It's like clearly the number one pick. But Boozer to me is like. He's like a 32-year-old NBA veteran as a freshman in college, the way he thinks the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and he just makes the right play over and over, and he hits the big shot if needed. He does everything well. Like, I still look at their roster. Like, look at what they lost from last year, and I'm still underwhelmed when I look at, like, some of the other players, just player by player, even though they're all 5-stars. But you know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, I don't see a bunch of other guys who, like, I know are going to make a big, like, impact in the NBA, whereas some of these other teams, I think there's a little more of that. But I think I have to go with them. And then Michigan, like, right behind them still. And then I might even make it, like, that tier, and then a little bit of a fall off to Arizona, who still, if Arizona wins it all, like, I'm not surprised. But, I mean, there's no... I think after that, you could make a case for a few different teams to, like, be in Indy, including Michigan State. I mean, the way they're playing, can they sustain this? Is this what they are? And we've seen this from Izzo teams before. Like, they just hit another gear and they figure some things out, and they're really scary at this point. I mean, UConn still at times looks really good, but they also really get into some ruts. I have, a lot of this year I've been a big believer in Houston, but now I'm starting to wonder if they're a little bit young on the interior, other than Tugler. Iowa State's faltering. At times they look fantastic. So that other team could be, and Florida. Florida now their guards are playing well enough. Their front court, as we know, is unbelievable. That other team, I think, is among that group. But if Arizona, Duke, and Michigan don't win their regions as one seed, that's a big upset, big upset, and more than I think in a lot of years with the one seeds in a given tournament.
Good stuff. I've been asked also to ask you what time MSU's NCAA tournament game is tomorrow. So if you could answer that for you.
Tomorrow,
or whenever it is.
12-17.
Well, it's amazing that it's been 10 years since you left the MSU beat. 10 years this year. We were thinking we had one last long run with you, and we wound up drunk in a bar with a Michael Jackson impersonator in St. Louis, trying to get one last night in before you took off. Does it feel like 10 years?
Man, I feel like a lot of stuff is like this, and maybe it's not for you, but like for me, in some ways it feels like more, and in some ways it feels like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like so much has happened, especially like the kids and everything. They were these cute kids who liked us, and now you got a 21-year-old and 2 teenagers. It's like, so like in some ways it's like, God, it feels so long ago, but again, it's like a snap of a finger. So I don't know. It's not a great answer, but it is, as we were texting, it is amazing. Like if you asked me 10 years ago, would we be sitting here talking about Tom Izzo, Michigan State coach, got a team that's probably going to be a 2 seed. Last year was a 2 seed, won the Big Ten by 3 games. Like 10 years later, I wouldn't have even guessed that he would still be the coach. And here he is. And also, by the way, without even knowing all the stuff that's gone on with college athletics. So
yeah,
that's pretty amazing among many things.
Well, I hope the stars align and Michigan State winds up. Chicago second weekend would be where you are.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. The thing is, it's like I think Michigan is probably going to have to have a Big Ten 3 seed with Michigan. If you look at it, there's 5 Big 12 and 5 Big 10 that are going to be in those protected seeds. That means you have to have a region with 2 Big 10s. You have to have a region with 2 Big 12s. You don't want to have a Big 10 team. Like, you don't want a Sweet 16 matchup if possible. So the most likely scenario, and you don't really want to do a 1-2 from the same league. So I think, but if MSU is going to be a 2, I don't think they're going to be there. I think you guys are going to be with Duke, which is what, DC, I think.
Yeah.
You might get a rematch. You might get another little Duke Michigan State for a Final Four type thing. But if they happen to be a 3, then I think there's a real strong chance we could be talking Michigan and Michigan State and then Chicago. And my goodness, can you imagine the fan base like Armageddon scenario of those 2 playing to get to the Final Four, especially for Michigan fans with like this generational team having to get through Michigan State. Oh God, we need it.
It would be a lot of fun for some people, a lot of angst and medication for other people, and we would be around probably lots of fans at bars who just wanted to buy us drinks. So it'd be amazing for the 2 of us.
There would be. We'd be hungover as shit during the game, but it's fine.
Absolutely, Ask them to turn down the music at the arena if they please would. Brother, I appreciate the time and the conversation. Enjoy it as always, man.
Okay, thanks for having me, buddy. We'll see you soon, I hope.
That's the great Joe Rexrode, who, unless you're like under 30, you're well aware from his time covering Michigan State, and he's got 2 kids. He's up here a fair bit. He's got 2 kids at MSU right now. We'll see if his daughter winds up coming to Michigan State as well.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Bracketologist must pay very well.
Out-of-state tuition, too. Shit. Think about that. They left the state, and the kids came back. Yeah. Just not good.
Lord.
Yeah, not good. I think one of them, I think they're all good students, actually. I shouldn't say that. I think that may have helped. So.
See, that's the problem. They need to be a bad student. That's why you go to community college.
And it's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Be down there. And
it's good to be dumb sometimes.
Whatever community colleges. There's got to be a few in Nashville. Like, let's do a year or 2 of this first. It's interesting to hear Joe talk about, like, right now, he would have them on the 2-line too, and that's an amazing little rise for Michigan State in the last week or so.
I was more annoyed with you talking about the Yaxel the
Fears,
MVP,
Yaxel,
Fears,
yeah.
the player of the year, the Big Ten, and you talking about that, you have a vote, and that you don't like what he says online or all the things posted in social media. Like, you can't fault these guys.
Well, that's not going to affect my vote. I'm just saying.
But it made it sound like it would affect your vote.
No, what I'm
sometimes,
saying
and
is,
I just don't like that. I mean, Fears, his antics on the court, I could understand because that's on the court. These guys off the court with these cameras everywhere now, I just can't sit there. I understand it's probably not a good look most times, but unless you show me, Yaxel pushing an old lady down the stairs like that, and then we're talking. But if it's just a guy being a douche in a social media situation. But I think it comes down, I mean, honestly, the last game of the year, right? Michigan State. If Fears goes in there and wins that game at Chrysler, I think it's Fears MVP for the Big Ten.
I do too. I think Fears has, the Fears can still win it and not win that game. But if Fears wins that game, I don't know that he can. I should say this: he could win my vote and not win that game. But it is, you start to pay a real. I mean,
but how would he get How would he get your vote though over Yaxel? Like you mentioned, you guys talked about Michigan on the road. That road record is really
what you have to sort of quantify, and this is what I'm battling is like Yaxel's actual value. I mean, it's an impossible thing to get perfect, right? Because it's easy to understand Jeremy Fears' value to Michigan State. Without Fears, that team's in the NIT, right? So, but it's not as easy with. I mean, Yaxel's an incredibly good, important player, very great player. He's got more great players around him. They would still be a good team, I think, without him. But that ultimately shouldn't be you shouldn't be faulted by having great players around you. If you are the best player on a team that has a historic run, that's got to mean something too. And yeah, I mean, even if I think Merez Johnson's a better pro and better long-term prospect than I do, and certainly the stuff off, yeah, that's not going to affect my vote at all. Nor will Fears has gotten his stuff together pretty well. If his storyline had been like 3 or 4 more technical fouls for kicking guys and like he had lost his head a bunch of times, then that would absolutely impact that. Seems to have gotten past that, and it hasn't been an issue. Now, obviously, in Chrysler on Sunday, it'll be an emotional game. Who knows what?
About to say, we might want to wait until that game's over.
100%. You do wait.
Handing out credit.
And one of the things it's a late game, and I think my ballots due that night, which I got to make sure I remember.
It's not happening.
I'll forget.
Yeah.
No, I'll remember. I did appreciate Joe puts into now. The bracketology is harder than the AP poll, but I would go through every week and I would look at every team in the top 25, and then I would look at like the next 15 teams, and you would redo their resume, because what I would do is you'd want to see. Sometimes you'd be just assuming something was a great win, and you're only reacting to what happened in the last week, and that's not fair. A team that you thought was a bad loss or a great win early on can totally change by what some other team did. To me, the only way to do the poll right was to go through every single team and their entire resume every single week, which took 4 to 6 hours to do.
Good Lord.
And that's what if you want
2026.
Again,
there's got to be a better way. We got AI and stuff.
Well, just use Ken Palm. Use
your crush tape.
Yeah, just don't reference the AP poll, because nobody's putting the effort in it takes to do this correct. The bracketologists do it differently. They compete for spots on that bracket matrix. They want to be number one. They want to be known as good. I mean, other than Joe Lenardi, who never gets it right, but keeps his job. I actually have no issue with Lenardi, and I think he works hard. And
Sounds
he's had
like
a good year. I apologize. I have zero issue. We fix that in post.
No offense, but I don't know how you keep your job.
That's a complete.
I'm sorry about that. My bad. It's a good bit you got going on. Just insult someone and go, you know what? I didn't mean that. My bad.
So,
but it was fun talking to Joe. Like, I called him on the phone, and he goes, "Hey, Jason, are college refs still ass?" Like, yeah, of course. You know it. I know it.
No,
and speaking of that, he did comment on Twitter, Joe Rexrode, CJ Moore, at CJ Moore Hoops, tweeted this out last night. Doug Sermons, who ejected, Bill Self got ejected for the first time in how many years, whatever. But Self, the referee that ejected Self, was officiating his 9th game in 9 days. He's had 1 day off since February 15th. Now, college refs are ass. I understand that. But my God, let's get these guys some days off. And Joe quote tweeted it and was talking about all the money in college athletics. It's ridiculous, these guys. I mean, come on.
Well, that's because they're contractors. Like, this is why you got to find a way to hire them, because you could have,
and this goes for all sports, to be honest with you, NFL, college football, all of these.
And you'd lose some guys, but you'd find other people wanted to come in, because the problem I have with a lot of these guys is not even that they're running themselves ragged. Some of these guys are like high school principals by day, barely.
Right.
They're like police chiefs by day, barely. They're like working in civic community stuff, and there's some guys around here who did it as well, and maybe some prioritize their full-time job more than others. But like it's a lot.
But could those guys be backups instead of, we need full-time referees?
Well,
if you want to do both jobs, I can understand, but maybe that you do a certain amount of games.
Yeah, you should be doing like 4 days a week and then one night of like really breaking down what you've done that week of improvement of other things like that.
There's too much money not to.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why these guys, if you want to work a second job, but you should be able to be paid a full-time living wage or whatever it is, a competitive wage as a referee. If all of this money is coming in and we focus and we yell at these guys and they're an important part of the game, unfortunately, referees are.
Yeah.
So why not pay them as such?
No,
I just never understood that. But
I agree. There's whether there's enough money in all elements of college sports to do this is another question. But certainly in men's college basketball, you have the money to do it differently. And football, and I understand football is a 4-month sport. Some of these guys are like, this is football, and it's once a week. Football is a different conversation to me. Men's college basketball is a place that should have full-time officials. And it should be one of the great jobs in the country. I mean, you're talking 6 months a year of work. Go get yourself a season tickets to a Major League Baseball team the rest of the year and just hang out. Like, it should be one of the great jobs that you could.
But that doesn't mean you're done just because, you mentioned college football and it's 4 months, but you're not just done after the last whistle of your last game. You have to, you have to crush tape. You have to practice, right? If referees have to get into a groove and maybe, I don't know, like some schooling or, camps or something that they go to.
There could be there's a better way to do it than nine games.
There's so many people that get paid to not, they work less than that, less than 4 months and make more than those referees do. I mean, who cares how long you're working as long as you're doing a service that everybody enjoys and the money is coming in. I don't know.
And these guys are making a couple grand a night at least.
Sure.
And so they're.
But why is this guy officiating his 9th game in 9 days?
Because if he takes a day off, he loses a couple grand. That's why. It's greed. It's just greed.
Well, then check his gambling apps. I mean, what's going on then? Why do you? What? Does he have 2 kids going to Michigan State, out of state? Doug Sermons?
If all of a sudden we see Rexrode reffing games at night and also writing for the
doing bracketology shit on his phone in timeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, good God, give Joe Rexrode a break. Forget this referee. God, he's got to wake up at 5 a.m. and talk about the Nashville Predators for 2 hours. Wow.
Yeah. Kids got to go to school,
Yeah, I guess so. Chalk up another one for guys that didn't have kids. Don't worry about that.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into some more stuff, some Tigers, some Lions, some Pistons. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They've become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Roob, our Wednesday show presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar, the original Couch in the Roob sponsor. As always, when you support our sponsors, you are supporting us, and we very much appreciate that. And look, Couch of the Roob has been they have been loyal to us from the get-go, and they've been a fit for us. So Front 43 and Cask and Company, we wouldn't be recommending them if we thought this wasn't a great experience. They are a place that I recommend all the time to people, and Jason and I have enjoyed many a meal there over the years. Go to Cask. And
speaking, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, speaking of, the wife is traveling back from New York on a business trip, and she did send me a picture of a Shake Shack that she was
nice.
checking out. So she's going to report back and how good it was.
Nice. Appreciate it.
I have to try Shake Shack, man. Got to get over there.
Yeah, it's good. It's better than, I always think of it replaced the Frandor Rite Aid where there was that shooting all those years ago. Right. Remember where that was? I was driving by when that happened.
Wait, what's that, Mel?
Yeah, I don't
shit.
have enough time for all of that.
Hold on, I fucked it up.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
Thank you.
We don't have enough time for all that.
Yeah.
What shooting? What are you talking about?
You remember the pharmacist guy?
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to.
Oh, sorry.
How many years ago was that? My God.
I remember I was still dating my wife, and she was still at the LSJ. So she left. This was like 2013 because she left for the Tribune in 2014. Because I remember there was a guy I was pulling up on Clipper Avenue, which people who know Lansing and Frandor will know. I was pulling up right with the Rite Aid that's now Shake Shack on my right. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I see this cop with a long gun like run in front of my car. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And then I look around, there are just cops everywhere. I'm not really paying that much attention. Mm-hmm. And I called my wife, who was at the LSJ and running the digital desk, and she said, "Get video," instead of like get out of there. She said, "Get video." I'm like, thanks.
Get out and run up there and get some video.
It was great.
What's crazy is that pharmacist was my mom's pharmacist, and I would go pick up scripts for her, and he was a rude gentleman, I will say. And I did tell my mom, I was like, man, I tell you what, that guy is really rude. It's unbelievable. And not saying he deserved that by any means, but it was just a hill. Yeah.
Maybe fix that part in post, but yeah, no.
What do you mean? I'm just telling you. You brought up the story. I know. I don't know. I tried to forget about it and was saying, it's like, my God.
Apologies.
Anyway, well, I guess we should just end the show now on that downer note.
A couple of things I wanted to get into, and we were talking about. One, this Jason Benetti is going to be the voice of NBC Sunday Night Baseball, which means one less Tigers game a week on Sundays. So the Sunday afternoon games, which, you enjoy Benetti as much as you can get him, you won't get him.
Does that mean Johnny Kane?
I don't know. I think they'll work on this because it's going to be every week now, because he's always missed some for national commitments, especially with like Fox and football and everything. But this is why he left the Sox in part. Like they didn't want him to do this stuff. So the Tigers knew this when they got him. Like, he's a rising star in the broadcast business. If you want this guy to be your guy, you're going to have to share him with some national commitments. And I'm 100% okay with that. It's great for the Tigers. It's great for them to have Benetti.
I mean, I'd rather have him do every single Tigers game, but I mean, hey, you can't. If a guy has a dream to do both or whatever he wants to do, more power to him. Just don't leave us with Johnny Kane. Who's the backup?
Mario and Pemba come back on Sundays with Mario, man. Do something like that. Why not?
Bring back Rod Allen. Bring the boys back together. Fight over a chair again.
The
old days.
Boy, that chair has it worse than this chair. That's sorry.
I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
So the one of the other things I wanted to talk a little bit about was the Pistons and where they are with look, the Cavs look like a little bit of a different engine than they were earlier this year. Now that said,
I'm so sick of Harden.
James Harden is injured right now, so
no, Donovan Mitchell. Harden played last night.
Oh, he played through it. Okay, but
Donovan Mitchell's was out last night. Yeah.
But Harden's got an injury now, so he's playing through it. He's got like a broken something on some hand. Hold on one sec. Give me some.
Really?
Ball. Yeah.
Oh.
Come on.
I am the passenger.
That's crazy.
And I ride.
Yo, are you raising your voice at me?
I ride through the city's backside.
Yeah, he's got some sort of.
Can't believe he's playing through it.
Yeah, he's got some sort of broken.
Guys play through injuries now.
Yeah. It's cause this is like postpone getting thumb surgery on his right hand to avoid missing more time. So yeah, he's gonna have to get surgery on his right hand. This is a horrible story, by the way. On this, I mean, I hate people like dupe you like one of the. Okay, I'm gonna fucking get mad at young people in this business and engagement farmers. Like, we still have to know how to write a lead, okay? If your headline is Cavs James Harden reveals huge injury news after return to Nets, which is a little bit, you're already whatever. But, like, don't wait till the 15th paragraph for you to have to get into it. That is the lead, my man. That is the lead. Don't ever work for these people, and don't ever let somebody teach you that's okay. That's never okay. That's not okay in the AI world. That's not okay in the engagement farming world. Learn how to write a fucking lead. All right, that's. I'm sorry. That's because if you sent that to me, I wouldn't look at another one of your clips. That would be it. That'd be it. I'm sorry. Do not fall into this. I don't even know who wrote
so
this.
Much pressure to apply for a gig with couches involved.
Yeah, sorry, just don't. Anyway,
wait. So is Harden hurt or not? I forgot.
He's hurt, but he's playing. He's hurt, but he's playing.
Oh man, way to grind through it.
I still don't trust the Pistons entirely. There's a nervous energy about.
What is this 97-1? Why? Because they lost last night. They're still 41-15 or some shit like that. I mean, come on, man.
I trust they're a good team. What I mean is I don't trust them to be able to get through playoff rounds against other good teams. I don't know in a 7-game series that they're better than the Cavs.
Isaiah Stewart coming back after 7 games off.
I want to trust it. I don't trust it. I mean, do you trust it?
I want to trust it.
Right.
Is it that I'm scared of Cleveland? No. Yeah, I can understand because some of the shooting is not there. Defensively last night was horrendous. And apparently Cade Cunningham has a problem against Jalen Tyson. Jalen Tyson is the Cade stopper, even though he had 10 and 14 assists last night. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I'm not, like, what do you mean? In a 7-game series, I think they can beat Cleveland. I mean,
I think
name
they
a team in the
them.
East that I'm, like, really scared of.
Again, this isn't about can they beat. They're going to be the number 1 seed, maybe with the best record in basketball. And so they should be the presumed favorite to get to the NBA Finals. And the question is, do you feel they have a better than 50-50 shot against, like the way that should be is you've got like a 90% chance in the first round, which I think they will win the first round. In the second round, you should have like a 75% chance, and you should have like a 60% chance in the conference finals. I don't feel that way about them. I feel once they get to that second round, once they're in that Cleveland, Boston, New York mix or whatever, it to me feels like it's a little bit more of a 50-50 proposition.
Sure, I can't disagree with that, but I wouldn't say, because of last night's game against Cleveland, and it really bothered me that Cade only shot 2 free throws. I mean, come on, this guy is going to be the MVP of the league this year. He needs to start getting some superstar calls. If you're going to go 4 for 16 from the field, Cade, let's get some free throws going.
Yeah. No, I'm
but I mean, overreacting over that game last night, even though Donovan Mitchell didn't play, I just think is ridiculous. But
now, it'll be exciting when it happens when they're in the postseason. And at this point,
this was not supposed to happen this year, right? The 1 seed and the record, and right, or it was next year that we were supposed to emerge. I guess
the best thing about it is that it would be disappointing if they lose in the second round or something, although the Cavs had that sort of situation happen to them when they had the best record in basketball and won like 67 games. But it would also be telling of what they still need. I think the best thing about this era is this is a very much a learning season. Do they have enough right now? And then what will they still need to do? And then you let this play out.
Trading Jaden Ivey and getting Kevin Huerter, which I don't know what they're going to do with him because he's come in and not really done.
They weren't going to do anything with Ivey, so that's why they had to just.
No, I get it. I understand. But when you trade for a guy like Kevin Huerter, there's a reason. It's for his shooting. And if he's not going to help you, I mean, that is it's not a great trade at the moment.
I don't think he's a long-term part of the plan. No, I don't think Ivey was either.
But maybe for a playoff, when you make a playoff push, though, to have that guy, if he is a sharpshooter, and him and Duncan Robinson, and so. Anyway.
Other things to talk about. Let's briefly do Lions here as well.
I know. Rams made a trade. They traded for the top corner in the league from the Chiefs and McDuffie, and we just sit back and just relax.
What do you want the Lions to do right now? They did trade David Montgomery and got back an offensive lineman and 2 draft picks. So that seemed like good return. We just talked about that. Like, what do you want the Lions to be doing right now?
I want offensive line. And Michigan fan Jordan and I were talking this morning, and he texted me. He's like, the Frank Ragnow thing still bugs me. And I'm with him. And we've talked about it, in the past month or so with Ragnow of like, why is it like he was able to want to come back last year, failed the physical, blew out whatever, his quad, but does that mean he can't come back this year? It just seems like it was put off into the side when Brad Holmes was asked about it and Dan Campbell was asked about it as if he's gone forever. Like, why? I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to try to, if you're going to bring Taylor Decker back, why wouldn't you sit there and, hey, Frank, we talked about it last year. You must be healthier by now, right? Or by the time the season, I mean, there's a long gap before the season. I feel like Frank Ragnow could get himself into shape and play a little bit of center while we're trying to do some patchwork, and maybe Tate Ratledge is the guy in waiting. I just don't want to throw a second-year guy under center like that. So that's the most frustrating part with me, because I just want offensive line. I see all these projections and all the free agents, and it's like, who do you want? It's like, oh, do you want Kenneth Walker? And it's like, what do we? No, I want offensive line.
Yeah,
day in, day out. That's all I'm looking at. That's all I want to hear up. The draft projections and free agency and stuff like that. But more importantly, why can't we ask about Frank Ragnow? It's just weird.
I do think Kenneth Walker hit free agency at the perfect time after being Super Bowl MVP, and after just 4 years, right? So he's still young enough that he might get a decent deal. Running backs just don't get paid, though. I mean, it's the reality of it. And you can be the Super Bowl MVP, and they're just not going to pay you, right?
No.
I mean,
that's the unfortunate part about being a running back.
And it's just so different.
Saquon,
it's so different because you think about 30 years ago when we were kids, like that was the position where everybody was a star, and that's how you built a team.
It was also George Perlis era too, where it was run left, run right, boring football.
Different
on the clock.
Different deal.
Ground and pound too. So
yeah. Well.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a question. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why it's just a weird. You know what I mean? Like with the Lions, sometimes things are handled weird, like really strange.
I do love the sporting calendar the way it works, though, because like for most Lions fans who are like Michigan or Michigan State fans, you have a next month of complete distraction from any of these sort of things, and then as soon as that's over, and maybe you get the Frozen Four. I just booked Vegas for the Frozen Four, by the way. Yeah, it's Vegas. Yeah, might be doing some shows from Vegas. But then it's like draft time, almost immediately after that, and the calendar is just so perfect in so many ways. Well, we appreciate all of you.
Before we get out of here, let me give my golf bets.
Bay
Hill.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Arnold Palmer Invitational golf bets that I did tweet out yesterday, but I'll give them to you out on here because for the people that don't have Twitter. Top 30, three-legger. Top 30. This is a signature event, so there is a cut. There's only 72 guys. Top 30, Russ Henley, Jake Knapp, my boy Jake Knapp, and Glover. I forgot Lucas Glover. I didn't put his first name. Plus 750. Top 30, Henley, Knapp, Glover. Top 20, Nikolai Højgaard and my boy Sepp Straka. That's plus 800. And outrights, I also like Nikolai Højgaard, plus 5,500. That's 55-1 odds on him to win it outright. Jake Knapp, 38-1 for him. And Matt Fitzpatrick, plus 2,800. 28-1 on him. And also first-round leader Matt Fitzpatrick at 33-1. So those are my Bay Hill, Arnold Palmer invitational bets.
Oh man, I love it. It's we need to get Norm's golf bet sponsored. That should be a good segment.
Absolutely.
I love
He's getting a big head though.
Is he?
Yeah, we had a good week last weekend at the COG. So I don't know. We're up on the year, so things are going well. But
I'd give you some Indian Wells tennis plays, but I don't know. It seems Well, actually. Maybe I'll give you one just for give me some Hoff. Let me pull this up. Tease, yeah.
Come out of the sky. Yeah, the bright and hollow sky. It looks so good tonight.
I mean, I felt all of Fred Human. All right, I really like Adrian Marino. Oh, this is today, isn't it? Berrettini Marino. That's not really going to work. I apologize. That's today. If you're listening live, I like Manarino over Berrettini. And look, he's a heavy underdog, but I like the matchup quite a bit. And so that would be one of my plays. Let me give you one more that's a little more time for those who really want to get into tennis betting. Let's say.
Let's go green. Oh God.
All right, I have one here. Emilio Nava over Nuno Borges. Oh, is that today too? I don't know. I'm sorry. These are not great picks. Maybe
we should end this show 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Sorry,
we got greedy.
Juan Manuel Cerundolo over Botic Vandeslump. I also like that one.
Plus Dude, can you just read names?
Plus 190.
Don't even give me the bets. Just read the names.
That is beautiful. We will be back Friday with your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. We appreciate Front 43 and Cask & Company. Go to caskandcompany.com. Make a reservation if you're going to have a date night or whatnot, or just swing on by. And two distinct vibes, both great places, one fantastic menu. We appreciate Joe Rexrode joining us as well. And we will talk to you Friday. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.